Hey everyone. So one of the things that we always like to do here is try to get our W's, right? We want to always have our wins when we can get them, and I think it's pretty important to acknowledge that when it happens. So let's look. UK Appeals Court overturns puberty blocker ban for youth under 16. The judgment upholds the established legal principles which respect the ability of our clinicians to engage actively and thoughtfully with our patients in decisions about the care and futures. Pretty fucking great. Let's see what it has to say.
Yeah.
The United Kingdom's Court of Appeal has ruled that people under 16 can be prescribed puberty blockers without a parent's consent or a judge's approval. The court Friday overturned a High Court ruling from December that said those under 16 were likely not mature enough to give informed consent to use of the drugs, which are often given to youths for gender transition, the Associated Press reports. The High Court had also ordered clinics to seek a judge's permission before prescribing puberty blockers to anyone under 18.
Yeah, so this is insanity because what it essentially does is remove all the power away from clinicians who are making clear diagnoses and decisions about what is best for their client. Like, again, I can't say what the UK version of this is, but the WPATH standards require at least 3 separate fucking professionals and the parents, right? Because you would need their doctor, their endocrinologist, and their therapist. And if you have any additional issues in there, say mental illness, psychiatry, like there's a lot of things there. And usually for kids, you might even need an extra therapist, if I remember correctly.
Wait. So previously, this reads as the previous decision was that the High Court.
Yeah. So the original
also
court
required clinicians to seek judge's permission for anyone under the age of 18.
Yeah. So basically, the court ruled originally in the favor of TERFs.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty amazing.
I fixed chat. Sorry, guys. Yeah, judges are not healthcare professionals. I agree to you, Matt.
Yeah, but that if this is completely accurate, anyone under 16 can be prescribed puberty blockers without a parent's consent or judge's approval. That's pretty awesome. That means that your parents can't be like, no, you can't do this.
We'll have to look to see exactly what the specifics are, but at least it opens up the possibility that someone under 16 could be given puberty blockers if it was decided by the professionals in their life.
Yeah.
Again, let's be very clear. I know TERFs like to make a big fucking deal out of puberty blockers and think that they're the worst thing ever. But the reality is we've been using them for decades. They don't hurt people, and they're really not that deep.
Yeah, pretty much. And they also can save a lot of time and potential, potential issues with dysphoria and all sorts of things, and
no, Niana, that's correct.
Save a lot of kids. So
The High Court was not in a position to generalize about the capability of persons of different ages to understand what is necessary for them to be competent to consent to the administration of puberty blockers, the appeals court judges wrote. Moreover, the effect of the guidance was to require applications to the court in circumstances where the divisional court, a branch of the High Court itself, had recognized that there was no legal obligation to do so, they continued. It placed patients, parents, and clinicians in a very difficult position.
True.
In practice, the guidance would have the effect of denying treatment in many circumstances for want of resources to make such an application, coupled with inevitable delay through court involvement. Doctors should be the ones to decide if patients are mature enough to consent, the judges said.
I agree with all of that.
Mm-hmm.
This is a huge deal and a huge win. So let's keep going, because now we're gonna get into the person who started this whole nonsense.
The case originated from a lawsuit against the Tavistock and Portman NHS Trust, the primary provider of gender-affirming care for young people in the UK. The suit was brought by Kira Bell, who started taking puberty blockers at 16 but later detransitioned, and the mother of an autistic girl who was seeking gender-affirming treatment. Bell, now 24, argued that the clinic should have challenged her more over her decision to transition, the AP reports. She and the other plaintiff, whose name was not made public, contended that young people going through puberty are not sufficiently mature to understand the effects of puberty blockers.
Yeah, they so want to make the choice, and the TERFs really want to be the one making the choices of who gets to be trans or not. And the simple fact of the matter is that Again, so let's assume for a moment someone like Kirabel happened. I don't believe Kirabel's story as far as I've heard it, but let's say for a moment. Are there possibilities of someone being allowed to transition too early? Yeah, it's possible. Here's the problem. If they're following actual standards that are laid out, that just doesn't happen. WPATH standards make this very clear. And again, this says more about the doctor that was working with it, or working with her, or it says the fact that she was in bad faith when she brought this up, right? Like, we just got done talking about a segment where we were talking about people having to be good faith. If you come in and you convince your clinicians, your doctors, your endocrinologists, everybody there that you really, really, really are a boy, they have no reason not to believe you. Maybe Kira didn't have the actual, introspection to figure that out, but Kira isn't all children.
Because of the High Court decision, the Tavistock and Portman Clinic suspended new referrals for puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones for the under 16s, The Guardian reports, although it also notes that hormones are not generally prescribed for anyone under 16.
True.
In appealing the ruling,
Yep.
lawyers for the clinic said it was based on partisan evidence, and the Court of Appeal agreed. The clinic does not actually prescribe the drugs but assesses patients and makes referrals.
Also true.
Tavistock and Portman praised the appeals court's ruling. The judgment upholds established legal principles which respect the ability of our clinicians to engage actively and thoughtfully with our patients in decisions about their care and futures, a spokesperson told The Guardian. It affirms that it is for doctors, not judges, to decide on the capacity of under 16s to consent to medical treatment.
Word.
Do you have anything you want to add?
No, just that that's pretty huge that actually got overturned.
Yeah, I guess what I'll add to this is also, like, again, they don't prescribe the drugs, they just make referrals. And again, there's 2 points to take from this. Is one, this is why we want to always be thorough with our clinicians. This is why if someone behaves inappropriate with you, you should report them. This is why you should ask questions and be clear about your therapist you're working with. This also brings up why people like Sasha Ayat are so dangerous. Because if you go see that lady, guess what? Your kid isn't going to be able to transition, which will, if they are indeed trans, will do demonstrable harm to them.
Yeah.
Right? Let's see what Bell had to say.
Bell expressed disappointment with the decision and said she plans to appeal to the U.K.'s Supreme Court. A global conversation has begun and has been shaped by this case, she said, according to The Guardian. There is more to be done. It is a fantasy and deeply concerning that any doctor could believe a 10-year-old could consent to the loss of their fertility. However, doctors say puberty blockers alone do not cause infertility, although cross-sex hormones can.
Sure. So again, notice Kira lying here. Kira Bell is a well-known TERF who has been instrumental in some of the fucking nonsense in the UK. And yes, also fuck The Guardian. The simple fact of the matter is that 10-year-old consent to loss of their fertility. No one is losing their fertility. This is TERF lying. For those who don't know what a TERF is, trans-exclusionary radical feminist, or a hate group that hates trans people. Usually trans women, but lately they've been going after AFAB people. The fact of the matter is that this whole discussion here is nonsense, because her argument is essentially that a 10-year-old could consent to loss of fertility. They can't, though. In the United States, for example, if your kid is showing gender nonconformity, generally until they're in their early teens, we don't do anything. You just let them live as you let them live as their gender they are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right? If they identify as a girl, they're a girl. When it gets to be puberty time, you put them on hormone blockers. Hormone blockers are safe and effective, and they allow a kid for several years to be incredibly happy without not going through the wrong puberty.
It definitely gives them more time to kind of figure out what exactly it is that they want or need.
Yeah, so it doesn't have a ticking clock underneath them.
Yeah, it's not forcing them to accidentally go through the wrong one, because that's what they're forced into, because that's what their body's doing.
Now, I will say there are some rare cases of people having bone issues with hormone blockers, but as far as I can tell from all the research I've done, this seems to be a very tiny, tiny minority. Hormone blockers, as Tiamat says in chat, are 100% reversible.
Yep.
They are just easy enough to use. They're not hard. They're not a big deal. And essentially what happens is, let's say you put the kid on him at like 12, kid doesn't go through puberty, and then what ends up happening is that you let the kid get to about 16, and then what happens is you make a decision. Either one, they go through the puberty they're supposed to in this case, whatever that is, right? And so they either go through the one that they were assigned at birth, so they'll go, assign, yeah. Yeah, and bone issues can be regulated by doctors. Absolutely true, Pinnacle. Also, yeah, doesn't testosterone affect that? Like, man, how many trans girls want to be shorter? Fuck off. So, like...
Yeah. So you basically get to go through the one that your body will set you off, to go through, or you could do hormone replacement therapy and go through that puberty. Okay.
Yeah, and about 16, you can have them go on whatever they want. If they want to go through the puberty based on the gender they were assigned, do that. And if you want them to go through, they want to continue their transition, whatever that looks like, give them. Yeah, we've been using them for decades with non-trans people.
Right, and there's absolutely, like, therapists and doctors involved. Like, this isn't just, like, a single, like, here you go, whatever. No, there's absolutely support around these situations.
No, absolutely. And so here's the thing I just want everyone to realize about this. We want to go through it quick, is just very simply this. If you ever see anything involving Kira Bell, do not trust that bitch.
Yep.
Simple that this person is a TERF. This person has been weaponized by the TERFs in the UK. The fact that this happens is a really great win, and hopefully the Supreme Court in the UK will double down on it. But the simple fact of the matter is trans kids are important. Fucking protect them.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
No, just protect our trans kids. Like, they need it.
All right, guys. We'll call it on this video. We'll see you in the next one.
Yep.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. You can also ring the bell if you want to be notified of our videos. If you want to help the channel, you can donate at streamlabs.com/transgirltherapist/tip. You also can become a patron at patreon.com/transgirltherapist. As low as $3, you can support our channel. Thanks for watching.